Welcome back to the Your Golf Performance Podcast. We're joined today with Marc Leishman. He was a winner on the PGA Tour, a multiple winner on the PGA Tour, now playing on the LIV Tour. Pretty much a legend of Australian golf as well, I would say, for that younger generation. Marc, thanks for taking the time to come on and have a chat.
Yeah, no worries at all. Happy to be here.
I'm super excited for this. And before we go any further, Aaron Price, thank you again. He's been looking after me like a little brother lately. So, mate, can we just go back, I guess, to your younger days? You grew up in Warrnambool, and I guess how you first sort of fell in.
Yeah, I started, well, probably playing golf on a golf course when I was about 8 years old. But I played every sport, most of the way through school, probably till I was about 15. But no, I played cricket, footy, I surfed a bit, anything with a ball I loved. But obviously was probably better at golf than any of the other ones, and just loved it. So I love the challenge of it. I love you could spend time with your mates, or you could spend time with your family while you're playing, and learn a lot. So it's been it was just a good sport to me. But probably the thing I loved about it the most was the challenge.
Yeah, okay. At what age did you realise, hey, I'm pretty good at this?
I won the men's club championships at Warrnambool when I was 13.
Yeah.
So I thought I was, pretty decent then.
Yeah, of course.
But I never got ahead of myself. I knew that things can turn quickly. Golf's a hard game. That might have been a one-off week sort of thing. Probably when I was about 16, I knew that I was going to do something within the golf industry as my job. Whether that was a club pro, or a manager, or a greenskeeper, or obviously the pinnacle was to play on the big tours around the world. But yeah, I'd say about 16, I really knew that I was going to be in the golf industry doing something.
Yeah, okay. And you kind of have this really grounded personality. Were mum and dad pretty, I guess, not hard on you, but what were they like as parents, as far as not letting you, I guess, become cocky and a big head type thing?
They were very laid back, probably
Yeah.
as laid back as you could get. We had pretty much free reign to do what we wanted, me and my sister. I think, yes, my parents, but they didn't need to kind of pulling the reins at all, just because I think there was living in a small country town. If you started to get a bit ahead of yourself, or a big head as we'd call it,
Yeah.
um, people would just give you so much shit that it didn't matter. So that would get knocked on the head really quickly. I remember one day I was walking into the club. I was probably about, I don't know, 13 or 14, maybe 15, and one of the lads, Macca, his name was Brian McKenzie. He asked me, I still remember it like it was yesterday. He's like, "Oh, how you playing?" I'm like, "Yeah, actually playing really good." And then I sort of walked down in the locker room, and Dad had heard the conversation, and he pulled me aside, and he's like, "Hey, when someone asks you how you're playing, always tell them you're playing shit. You never say you're playing good." I'm like, "Oh, all right then." So yeah, it was even like when you were playing good, it was still like you still had to keep things in check. But yeah, I remember that conversation in particular.
Yeah, okay. Who were your sort of biggest influences on your development as a young golfer?
I'd say there was a few. I had obviously my dad. He taught me early on, just gave me the basics. I had a couple of really good friends, Lee Stevenson and Davey Walker. We all played golf together, and I think we all pushed each other. So I think we drove each other to be better. Sort of three really good players at the same club, which is coming out of a small country town was probably fairly rare at the time. And then George Campbell, he was the club pro at the time, early on, and then he left. Craig Bonney, he was the next club pro, and a couple of members at the golf course. My mum and dad couldn't afford to get me lessons, so Jeff Earl and Jerry Peoples, they asked me, or they sort of paid for my lessons and helped me sort of travel to tournaments and that sort of thing. So there was quite a few people just that believed in me, and the good players there at the right time, and a supportive family. So it was, I think it all worked out. The stars aligned pretty well with all that. But I guess if I was not a great kid, probably none of that would have happened. So I
I
think
think it's phenomenal to hear, a kid that obviously country town, mum and dad couldn't afford lessons, and then, fast forward, let's just say 10 years, and you're contending in major championships, and those people that, I guess sponsored you per se to have lessons, like, geez, they must have felt happy and proud to be able to see what it I guess transpired to.
Yeah, and there's a lot more people than the people I mentioned, but I feel like a lot of people around town helped us out. Too many to name, but I feel like they've got a part in this. And I remember I can't remember what year it was, but not sure if it was. Yeah, I don't remember what year it was, but I had a bit of a party at the golf course and sort of hosted everyone that had helped me throughout the years, and bought
Yeah,
beers for everyone. And it was on a Friday night at the golf course, and just had them all there, and just sort of said a few words just to say thanks, and sort of wouldn't be where I am without them. And but yeah, I hope they do feel that they're part of it, because they certainly are. It would have been and it still was. Mum and dad obviously did put their own money into it where they could, but it would have been an impossible task, like traveling to even just to Melbourne and back every week. It was a 3.5 hour drive, having to do that every single weekend, staying in hotels. The fuel, like, it was just, we couldn't have done it. So very fortunate to have those people, and they certainly are a part of it.
yeah, that's cool. We, my wife and I actually did the Great Ocean Road in October last year, and we finished off in Warrnambool. It's a cool little town. I obviously went there because I was like, oh, we go and check out what the golf course looks like, and
Yeah,
obviously it's a cool little town. It's a
yeah, it is. No, it's a
I
great spot.
Yeah, and I guess those country towns, I guess for the people overseas listening, like here in Australia, there can be quite a lot of good sporting kids come out of small or country towns, and the local community get behind them pretty well, which is good. So
Definitely.
we're welcoming a new partner to the Your Golf Performance podcast. This will be a performance analytics partner, Circles, or Draw More Circles as you may know them, the ultimate tool for tracking your golf progress. Whether you're a junior golfer, college player or coach, the everyday club golfer, or a golf professional, Draw More Circles allows you to easily track and analyze your performance like never before. With their innovative performance analytics, you'll get insights into your game that go far beyond just the scorecard. From strokes gain metrics to detailed reports on every aspect of your play, you can pinpoint exactly where to focus your practice to improve faster. One of the best features that I've found with Circles is the course management tool, which will take your physical data to help you navigate around the course smarter. They're actually taking your stats that you've entered into the system and helping you strategically play a better game of golf. Plus, it's perfect for coaches who want to keep track of their players' development and offer data-driven advice. If you can't measure it, you're guessing. The best part is that as you are one of my listeners, you'll get exclusive access to their services through our partnership. These prices are too hot to mention, and I'll need you to email me. My email address is brentdalegolf@gmail.com, or feel free to message me on Instagram at brentdalegolf. We welcome Circles to the team. Can we talk about you, I guess, turning professional and getting your first, I guess, card? So it would have been on the Nationwide tour back then, right? Was it Nationwide back
My
then, or
first card, I turned pro when I was 21. I was playing, so I was in the Victorian Institute of Sport for 3 years, and playing. I was in the national squad, playing all the national trial events, and always said to myself, I never wanted to turn pro if I wasn't going to make money.
yeah,
If I didn't think I was good enough not to make money, I would just go do something else. So I kind of waited a little bit, and early on in 2005, I remember I won the Lake Macquarie Amateur. I think I won that by 9 or 10 shots, and then I was just about to go overseas to, I think, the British Amateur, and played the Capera Bowl. And I didn't play very well, but I still won it, and that was the moment I'm like, all right, I'm turning pro now, because
yeah,
if I don't have to play my best golf or somewhere close to my best golf to win, I'm not going to get any better. So that's when I decided that trip that I've had overseas planned was sort of going to be the last sort of 6 weeks before I'd turn pro, and then I played. I remember my first pro event. I did a pay for play in Florida before USQ school, and I remember I finished third and made 13 grand. So and then went to USQ school and missed out at first stage, and then I went to Asian Q school just after New Year's and missed. Between that, I actually went to Australian Q school and got my card. But so I actually went to Korean tour school in that, I think it was about April, and my first big tour card, well, not big tour card, where I could play a few events was Korea. So went up to the Korean tour, and then made enough money up there, had a win, and made a bit of money to then the next year be able to go over to the nationwide tour and do all the Monday qualifiers. So did that and missed my first 7 Monday qualifiers, which was a bit demoralising. But sort of had built a big enough bank where in Korea I knew I had about 2 years that I knew I had enough money for 2 years to give it a go, and finally got into one. And back then, I don't know if it's still the case, but when you'd finish top 25 in an event, you'd get into the next week without Monday qualifying. So I got on a run of those. So I don't remember how many, but it was quite a few where I'd just keep rolling over the top 25s, made enough money that way to get my card the next year on the nationwide tour, so a full card, and then finished top 25 to get my PGA Tour card after that, which was good.
So you have kind of had the same caddy, Matty Kelly, your whole career. Was he part of the whole career thing and going over and doing the Mondays, or did this pick up later?
No, so my first caddy was actually Dale Eden. So he caddied for me in my first year, sort of in Korea, and came to like the Q schools with me. And then it was early on, probably about halfway through 2000. Oh, geez. Yeah, I can't remember what year it was. He caddied for me for about a year, a little longer, and then I had Matty come over at the end of 2007. So he's caddied for me ever since then.
Yeah, well, it's a good relationship, right? That'd have to be one of the longest caddy-player relationships.
Yeah,
going.
definitely. I think it would be probably 1 or 2, I reckon. Yeah.
So we'll fast forward a bit. You obviously got your tour card. 2012 Travelers Championship, you won. What did that feel like to I guess have your first PGA Tour win? It's what every kid dreams of, right? You're having putts on the putting green at Warrnambool, probably. Oh, this is to win. It's usually the Masters or the US Open, but winning on the PGA Tour is unbelievably hard. How did you feel that week?
Yeah, it was obviously dream come true. It actually came out of nowhere because I was playing okay that week, but I don't know, I might have been running 20 something going into the Sunday. Actually, Ricky Ponting was in town. I don't know if it was I think it was his honeymoon. He was in New York City, and he came up to watch me play. So we had dinner that Saturday night before the last round, just sort of, just talking away. And he's like, what do you reckon tomorrow? And I'm like, oh, if I've got to have a, real low one, but you never know. Sort of like, ha. All right, catch you later, and then end up shooting 62 and winning. And that was. I don't remember a whole lot about it afterwards. Like the last round, I don't remember a whole lot about. What I do remember was driving down or back up the highway to my hotel, and just thinking to myself, "You've done it! Like you've finally done it! So. That was a really cool feeling to get that first one away, and then it took quite a long time to get my second one. Sort of one of those things where you get one, and then you don't want to be the guy who only won one. You want to try and validate it, I guess.
And I guess when as youngsters you dream about winning on the PGA Tour and then you do it. Did you have to sort of mentally reset from there and go, okay, I have new goals now, or like how did did it change your work ethic? Did it go one way or did it go the other?
No, I've never really changed my work ethic at all, to be honest. I've always been sort of had a formula and know what works for me. Um, so try and prepare the same for every event. And yeah, I've always been pretty regimented that way, I guess. So no, I
Yeah.
didn't change anything really.
Yeah, okay. So mentally, it wasn't like, okay, I've achieved what I wanted to, but I guess
Nah,
you probably wanted to win majors, so it was still just a stepping stone, right?
yeah, exactly. So yeah, yeah, majors was the big thing, but obviously winning anything is fun.
Yeah,
Whether
of
it's a
course.
major or the Vic PGA or
Yeah.
whatever it is, it's just fun winning. So um, yeah, it's I
Can
guess yeah, the bigger the better, but they're all
can
good.
we can we talk about, I guess, what your practice habits were like as a kid, and then how they evolved into professional golf? And then you sort of just said a minute ago, I guess, without giving away all your secrets, like what does a normal week look like for you on tour, like preparing for, I guess, the first round of a tournament?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're not secrets by any at all, I
Yeah.
would say. But it depends on what I've played, how much I've been playing, as to what I do. For my preparation will be different on week 2 of a 4-week stretch pre-tournament than it would be um, early in the week of a tournament where I've just had 2 weeks off before it and have a week off after it. So it'll be different. I don't generally do a whole lot on weeks off. If I've just got 1 or 2 weeks off in between tournaments, I'll do a bit of short game out in the backyard and hit some balls. But it's fairly light unless I've been playing poorly, and then it'll be very heavy to
Yeah.
get back into form. Um, but early in the tournament, or in the week of a tournament, I try and conserve energy as much as I can. So I want to have energy. I want to be the most have the be the most prepared on the back nine on Sunday, if
Yeah.
it comes to that. Like if I'm in contention, I want to be the most mentally um, the freshest person mentally, so I can handle whatever's thrown at me. So early in the week, I'll make sure I see the course. Depending on if I've played it before or not, say it's a new course, I'll play the course twice before the event. And then just make sure that you're learning how the ball's flying out of the rough, how far it's going, because one of the challenges of being a touring professional is you're playing different climates all the time. So the ball goes a different distance in San Diego at sea level than it does in Manila in the Philippines at sea level, with the humidity and the temperature and the air density and all that. I know Bryson DeChambeau talks about that, and yeah, people think he's a little crazy, but he makes very good points, because a
Yeah.
7-iron in San Diego for me might go 160 meters, whereas if I play in where I am now in Virginia Beach in the middle of July, a 7-iron flies about 175 meters. So there's a big
Okay.
difference. British Open, 7-iron might fly 150. So it's you have to work that out early in the week. So I like to make sure I know how far my clubs are going, how lies are going to react when they're coming out of the rough, if it's going to jump, if it's going to come out soft, if it's going to, spin up, or and then the shots around the greens out of the rough are very important as well. So, I can be a little more aggressive with my irons, knowing that if I miss a green and have a weird lie in the rough, I know how it's going to come out. So a lot of my practice is short game. Um, Normally around the chipping green. I don't like doing too much short game on the course, because it makes the practice rounds long
Yeah.
and puts divots on the golf course when there's a chipping green there for a reason. So I
Yeah.
like doing most of it there. I'm sure the superintendents appreciate me for that, but being a
Yeah.
grass man, I sort of try and look after them. But yeah, a lot of speed of the greens, putting, mostly short game. Yeah, I would say.
Yeah. Okay. And then as a youngster, what was your, like, how many hours a week do you reckon you were putting into your game? And was it like driving range practice, or was it more like most of us Aussies, so much competitive practice without realizing, with chipping comps and putting comps. What
Yeah,
was your structure like as a
it
teenager?
was a lot of chipping comps, putting comps, go and play, 3 or 4 holes. Chipping around every green, like for Warrnambool was always very. It's different then, or it's different now than what it was then. Now it's extremely busy. The membership's full, golf's booming. Back when I was a kid, it was you basically had the course to yourself every night after school, so you could spend get to the golf course at 4 o'clock and play 9 holes. It might take you 4 hours because you chipped around every
Yeah,
single green for
yeah,
10, 15 minutes each. So that was what we did. If I was trying to change my swing or not hitting it well, I'd spend a lot of time on the range, but um, we had to go pick up our own balls. We had to hit our own balls and pick them up, and it was always
yeah,
super windy, so the spread was massive. It'd take you ages to pick them up. So you're better off just going out on the course, which we'd do. But so practicing at Warrnambool was tough because on the range because it was always a super windy. When I got into the VIS, that's when I really I started working with Dennis McDade,
yeah,
and who I'm still working with now, 25 years later.
yeah,
And that's when we really sort of refined everything. And he helped me, or he still helped me. He just left this morning, actually. He was just been here for 3 days. But he really helped me sort of self-diagnose. So, I'll hit a shot in a tournament now, and I'll feel it about halfway down my downswing, and I'll be like, oh no, do I try and fix it or not? And then you hit it, and I'll know, obviously watch the ball flight, and then I'll know what I did and how to fix it before the next shot.
yeah,
So that's I think one thing to look for in a coach is that help you self-diagnose. So
mm,
you in a tournament, so you don't hit a shot and you're like, I have no idea why that went there. So what's going to happen on the next shot? Who knows?
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, I think it's so that he's been also a huge part in getting where I have.
yeah. Mate, 2013 Masters, like I've been to Augusta a few times. Believe it or not, you might not remember this, but 2012 Masters the year before, I went to Hooters for dinner and sat next to you at the bar and we had a chat because I used to caddy for you and Porter a little bit.
Oh, righto.
And we had a chin wag for 5 or 10 minutes, and then the next
Yeah,
year I'm watching on TV contend.
yeah,
What was that a special place for you going there, and obviously seeing it on TV all the time, and then turning up and contending?
yeah. It was something that I always obviously wanted to do. Always wanted to win the Masters. I still do, but yeah, obviously as an Australian, it's almost like the holy grail, isn't it? Like you feel like you're never ever
Yeah,
going to get there. And even like before my first Masters, I thought I've got to be really careful here because like I was careful driving everywhere, and like every time I'd get onto a plane, I'd be like, oh, this is going to be it, and I'm never going to get
yeah,
there. And then you get there, and it's really cool. But yeah, that was a pretty awesome Masters, that 2013 one. I actually wasn't hitting it that good early in the week. I'd missed the cut the week before in Houston, and sort of we call it a hard reset on the Friday night of Houston. Had a few
yeah,
beers and sort of me and Maddie and actually Sam Pinfold, who caddies for Cam Smith now. We all sat there and drowned our sorrows a bit, and got there and wasn't actually playing that good early in the week. And I actually had a practice round on Wednesday before the par three tournament, and remember I had like 4 or 5 birdies in a row on the back nine. I went and played the back nine, and I'm like, geez, I can actually play this place. And then the rest is sort of history. I went out and shot 6 or 7 under in the first round, and had a chance to win the Masters there going into the back nine Sunday. So it was it was a pretty cool week.
were the nerves kind of next level, given like you're in contention for the tournament, the one tournament that you really wanted to win, or you'd already had those putts on the putting green at Warrnambool, to win the Masters? Was it a different level, or did you have a way to sort of reset yourself back to, I guess, being in the present?
It's funny. I've been really lucky that I've never really had to. I mean, I won't say never. I have. It's funny actually. Some of the putts I've actually been really nervous over. But yes, I've been nervous over putts here and there or shots here and there. But most of the time, I haven't had to deal with nerves at all. I've got sort of had with the people that I've sort of had around me and the tools they've sort of given me of just with like breathing exercises and that sort of thing. When I'm under the pump, I really concentrate hard on my breathing, and that seems to regulate my heart rate. I've got a naturally really, really low heart rate, so I feel like when I get under the pump, it kind of gets to normal, which is
Yeah,
good.
okay.
So
That's cool.
I can control distances and all that. But yeah, I find that breathing exercises when I'm under the pump really, really help with that.
Yeah, okay.
And yes, some of the probably the most nervous I've ever been over a putt was probably the in the playoff in Adelaide at LIV Golf Adelaide a couple of years ago, when I had about an 8-footer to keep the playoff going. That one, and then I had another putt LIV as well in team things are what get the nerves going. I feel like President's Cups, the team championships, that sort of thing. It's because I've always been pretty grounded and level-headed and all that, and it's different to obviously you want to win every event you play in, and yes, you want to win, but once you have kids and all that sort of thing, it's like, well, if I don't make this putt, it's not gonna
It's still
change
going to
my
be
life or
okay.
anything. Like I'll still be all right. The kids will still, I'll go home and see them, and but of course I want to make it, but it's not like you have to write a check for what it's going to cost you if you miss it. If you had to do that, then I think there'd be a lot more nerves. But I feel like it's yeah, I feel like having just a level head and just uh, sense of reality and what's important and what's, of course, golf's important. It's my job, but there's a lot of bigger stuff going on. So
Of course. It probably, that 2013 Masters was probably one of the greatest photos, I believe, for an Aussie in history, where Adam Scott's on 18 fist pumping and you're in the background fist pumping as well, because, that was a big moment for Aussie golf. And yes, you were a contender in the tournament and, still finished fourth or whatever it was. But you would have been pretty proud for an Aussie to get over the line, right?
yeah, it was. I was. I mean, I felt like I was sitting on the couch. It was the best seat
Yeah.
while he was putting.
Yeah.
The yeah, it was cool. It was. I mean, I don't even fist pump my own putts when they go in. So I was sort of. I remember my arm went out, and I'm like, oh, what's going on here? But went over and gave him a big high five, and I remember that's another putt I was nervous over was that one after he made that, because I knew that top four got you into all the majors the next year, and I had about a 4-footer after I'd given him this ripping high five, and my hand was about probably the color of this cricket ball, and it just
Pink.
slapped,
Yeah.
and I remember standing over this putt about a 4-footer. It was pretty straight, and I remember thinking my hand is just burning, and I made it, but it was yeah.
That's
Actually, that
fantastic.
day, probably I've been lucky. I don't have any regrets about shots I've hit or anything like that throughout my whole career, actually. But there was a shot there on 15 that I remember I was between clubs. I probably had to make eagle to sort of make things interesting, and I think I was 2 behind Jace at the time, maybe 1 behind Scotty, might have been 3 behind, but I remember I was between clubs, and I said to Maddie, 4-iron's going to go over the back, and it's a really hard up and down if you're over the back of 15.
Hmm.
I said, if I rip the 5, I can make 3. Then I think we have to make 3. But I remember I ended up hitting the 5, and I chunked it a little bit. It was raining and landed on the hill and come back in the water. But I reckon if I had hit that 4-iron and hit it over the back and not one, I reckon I would have regretted. That would have been my regret for like my whole
Yeah.
career.
Okay.
Wonder what would have happened if I hit the 5-iron.
Yeah.
So it was like, yeah. So that was looking back. That's probably one of the things, apart from the, obviously Scotty making the putt on 18 and winning. That's probably the thing that I remember most about that day was that shot and making the right decision, even though it didn't come off. I reckon if I had hit the other club and even hit a good shot over the back, made 5, I would have just wondered for the rest of my life. Wonder what would happen if I
Yeah.
did hit the 5.
Hey listeners, I just want to welcome a new partner to the show, True Protein. For years now, I've struggled to find a protein powder that never upset my stomach. They'd always make me feel sick, and honestly, I'd sort of given up trying. But a few months ago, when I started a bit of a weight loss journey, trainer that I'm seeing gave me a couple of samples from True Protein. I was skeptical, but I didn't let my thoughts get in the way. After I didn't have any reactions, I thought, all right, I'll order a bag. So I ordered a kilo bag of the chocolate flavored protein, and I ordered the banana and honey. And honestly, it's changed my life. True Protein is an Aussie-made brand that uses clean, high-quality ingredients, no weird fillers or artificial junk. That's what I struggled with. A lot of the artificial stuff that some of these brands put in, the artificial sweeteners, just they ticked me over the edge. Anyway, their products actually work. Whether it's for recovery, hydration, or even just keeping energy up through 18 holes, they've got something that fits perfectly into a golfer's routine.
As a listener of the Your Golf Performance podcast, True Protein are offering $25 off the first order for any new customer. Use the code TRUEYGP, that's TRUEYGP at checkout.
I'm proud to partner with them because I actually use and believe in what they're doing. So we welcome True Protein to the show. Fast forward a few years, you're in a playoff at the 2015 Open. Was that at St Andrews? It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously your wife had been ill that year, and it would have been one of the best stories. It still was a fantastic story. I remember Pricey blowing up because they said about Zach Johnson had, come back, and Pricey's like blowing up on social media going, how can you honestly say that Marc Leishman's story wouldn't be better? Your wife had, she nearly passed away, right?
Yeah, we got told she was going to die in April that year. Well, actually, I had to withdraw from the Masters that year because she was looking like not making it. But it was a
Pretty
interesting
tough
time. Yeah, it was a tough time. But it was good. I mean, obviously a lot of good's come out of it with the foundation, and we've helped like thousands of families with all that. But yeah, that was interesting. The British Open that year, because I felt no nerves whatsoever that whole week. I remember
because life is bigger than golf.
What's that? Sorry.
Is that because life is bigger than golf? Like you'd already been through so much that year, it meant nothing really.
Yeah, my perspective was just off the charts at the time. Yeah. Maybe too good, because it wasn't like I didn't care. I mean, I did care, but maybe it was a good thing. It might have made me play better. I remember, I was quite not numb, but like as far as like my feelings, that I didn't really feel a whole lot that week. And I remember in the playoff for the British Open, and it was standing on the first tee and not really feeling nerves. And what's going on here? Unfortunately, I hit into a divot down the first, and it was sort of over from there. But it was a pretty cool week, that one. I remember I had a putt on 16. I hit a terrible second shot in there and blasted a bunk shot out to about probably 4 or 5 feet, and I hit a good putt and missed it. And I sort of, like, geez, I don't know what's happened there. Anyways, thought about that from 2015 until 2022. So I went back there in 2022 to where the pin was, put a tee in the ground, put my ball where it was, and I said to Maddie, I've got to hit this putt again. And I just have to. I've got to read it. I don't remember how I read it the first time, but I read it and I hit it, and it would have missed again. So I'm like, all right, that's good. I'm actually probably glad I missed it, but I did exactly the same thing. So maybe there's something quirky at the front of that green. But I had actually thought about that putt a bit, and until I went back there and hit it again and did exactly the same thing. So yeah, I won't hit that putt again.
What did you learn from obviously just competing against the very best, whether it's on the PGA Tour or on the LIV Tour? Like, what have you learned in your time? Like, obviously, technical skills can take you so far, but there's another level, I believe, as far as mental or whatever it is, preparation with the best of the best. What did you learn off those guys?
So I think for me, I was always like, I never wanted to have a coach that made me swing it a certain way. I always wanted, like, and it's probably why I've had the same coach for so long. Well, I've had Dennis for 25 years, but I feel like he gets as much information as he can off, people he looks up to, and going to different, seminars here or there, or, learning off his, colleagues. So he's his best version of himself, and then he coaches me to be my best version of myself. So I feel like what what got you there? Like, you know, I didn't get to the PGA Tour and then change coach and go to, you know, one of the, you know, the big guys, so called. But what got me there, I felt like was going to keep me there and get me better. So I'd improved so much getting to the tour. I thought, well, that we've got so much more to improve, and he's got so much more work to do on me. Like, why change anything? I never thought about changing anything. So I feel like what got you there is going to keep you there. That's always been my motto. And then just ask questions. I mean, when you're playing with, I remember playing actually I think I was playing with Pricey. We played a practice round at Pebble Beach. My first year on tour in 2009, we played a practice round with VJ Singh at Pebble Beach. And I remember Pricey just like asking him
That's
questions. And I'm
typical
like, geez, that's
Pricey.
actually, yeah. And then I actually learned something off that. I'm like, well, why wouldn't you ask?
Yeah.
You know, when you're playing with VJ or when you play with Tiger, like ask them what they do. And that everyone's, well, not everyone, but most people are really happy to pass on their knowledge and wisdom. And I remember I played with Tiger in the last round of the BMW in 2009, and he was like, daylight was second. And then me, I was second. But I remember like early on, I had a bit of run, you know, put a bit of pressure on him on the front nine, and then on the back nine, he started running away with it. And I remember asking him questions like, all right, what do you do on weeks off? Or what do you do during tournaments when this happens? And he was so happy to help. And I feel like that helped me a lot. And I feel like when people ask me, I'm more than happy to help. So I feel like, you know, asking questions is a massive part of development, and there's no bad questions. Like, it's, you know, you can get it's people say that all the time, but there's really, like, if you don't know the answer to it, it's not a stupid question.
Correct.
So so I think, you know, ask questions. I'm heading back to the WA Open here next week, so some of the young lads in Australia, I mean, I'm happy to help whoever wants it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Just on the Tiger thing, like, how did you go from watching this guy on TV and, you know, if you're anything like most of us, like idolizing him, to then, I guess, you know, becoming a friend of his or a colleague and playing golf with him? Were you a bit starstruck to begin with and then you calmed down, or are you not really like that?
I wasn't normally like that. I was that day. I remember in the locker room before we played, I've gone in for a leak, and in he comes, and, you know, introduces himself and all that, and he's like, you'd see him on the putting green, and like, the first time I met him was in a bathroom, but, you know, you'd see him on the putting green, and it was like, well, you'd remember Greg Norman when he was the man in Australia, like it was like that. So I remember the first tee shot at Cog Hill when I played with him. It's perfect 3-wood. I'd been hitting 3-wood all week. This little draw. There's bunkers at about, I don't know, 250 meters or whatever, 260 meters. Hit a 3-wood up there, and you'd hit an 8-iron onto the green. I remember saying to Maddie, I'm like, I can't hit 3-wood because I could miss it. Like, I can't feel my hands. I'm struggling here. Like, I'm gonna have to hit driver. And then I remember having my hand on my driver, and I'm like, I can't hit it. I can't hit driver because it's going to go straight in the bunker. Like, so anyway, I ended up hitting 3-wood, hit a good shot, but I think if that had gone, I thought that was going to go really badly. I was thinking I'm going to top it or something. So, but yeah, it's interesting when you go from watching him on TV, you know, winning USO, well, winning everything. To playing with him. But I think it's better when you get to play with him rather than just being in the same tournament as him and kind of, you know, walking by him, because you actually get to talk to him and have conversations and realize that he's just a normal person. Obviously, he's unbelievably good at golf, but still, you know, a person. So I think that helped me, and I've always actually played fairly well with him, which is good. I've played a lot of golf with him over the years, and yeah.
You know, when you were saying you were asking him questions, was that like mid-tournament, or was it?
Yeah, it was. I remember
Okay.
it was walking down like the 15th hole at Cog Hill in the last round when he's like 6 in front. You know, I'd ask him what sort of things he was eating a sandwich. I'm like, what do you have in your sandwiches? Like, is there anything like just like stupid stuff? Like, because it looks, he has peanut butter and banana in his sandwiches
Yeah,
while he's
okay.
eating, while he's playing. But just like, if he works out tournament weeks, or he works out before his rounds, he actually has trouble losing too much weight during tournament weeks because I guess he's sweating so much and
Yeah.
not being able to work out as much as he normally does. But it was really interesting just talking to him, and he was happy to pass on knowledge. And we actually, yeah, like I say, we played a lot of golf together and had some really good conversations.
Your golf ball is the most technologically advanced, or it's not. Your golf ball is either the most consistent, or it's not. It's the most trusted, or it's not. The fact is, it's either Titleist, the best performing golf ball in the world, or it's not. Prove it for yourself. Titleist, the #1 ball in golf. What will you play?
Mate, what was it like, the President's Cup, being on the international team and I guess representing, the international team, but your country? There's a few Aussies that play it. So what was that experience like compared to, say, playing week in, week out individual? And did that kind of play a bit of a part in the whole, switching over to live?
Yeah, I mean, the President's Cups are amazing. They're being in that team environment, the team room, the bus trips to and from the golf course, eating out together, just like traveling together. It's team sport and not a team sport, if that like, what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah, of course.
like playing cricket and growing up, I really loved the team part of it. And I think with pennant, you'd play pennant and you'd play country week, and in state teams and national teams. And I feel like once you turn pro, that stops unless you're playing President's Cups or Ryder Cups as an American or a European. So yes, I did miss that, and that was the best part about the President's Cups. Unfortunately, we got our butts kicked every
Yeah, I know,
time,
right?
it seemed like. But yeah, those weeks were amazing, unbelievably tiring. It's almost like the back nine of a major. Every shot you hit,
Yeah,
it's a
right.
lot of pressure. Big crowds everywhere. It was amazing. But yeah, having that was a part of the live decision. I think was with having it. It did get quite lonely on tour. Traveling by yourself, and if your family's not, once my kids got to a sort of a school age, they don't get to travel. So you're traveling by yourself, you're eating by yourself. It's quite lonely. I feel like a lot of the American guys do it really well. They travel in groups, and where they went to college together, or whatever it is. I feel like it's works a lot better for them. And we could do that, but we're always playing different tournaments and on different schedules. And so yes, that was part of the decision. And it's been so good traveling with the lads. Not just the players, but the caddies and the team and the families, and got to know the other players really well. So, some of the other players, like all the South African boys and the Torquay boys, the South Americans. It's been great getting to know them better, and yeah, it's been great.
I guess obviously with smaller field sizes, you have more of an opportunity, and I guess shotgun starts, right? So you're going to be around people more. As far as we had a quick little chat off air, like the competitiveness is still like there's a lot of people that say, oh, they're just they're fluffing around or whatever. But you were saying like everyone's still grinding because you pay a little bit less weeks, right? So when you're there to really be on. So have you found it's way more competitive than what you expected?
I knew it was going to be competitive, but I thought it, and in a good way, how it is in a good way. I thought it was going to be a lot more relaxed, but it's very everyone's really competitive, and like I said to you before, we're playing 14 events a year. You can't just work your way into the season the first 3 or 4 events. You've got to be on from. So you're preparing for tournaments. You're preparing for the season. I'm starting to prepare now. It's like I've got an off season. I'm working on few little swing changes that I've been wanting to do for a while. But yeah, it's extremely competitive. If you're struggling a little bit, you can't just go back and play one of the opposite field events against the guys that maybe aren't playing as well as the guys that are playing the elevated field events. So you're playing against the really good players every single week. So I think it's been really good for my golf. I'm enjoying my golf more than I ever have, just from playing less tournaments, wanting to play on off weeks because I'm enjoying playing the game is a really good feeling. So, and then wanting to, go back and play in Australia as well. Having that opportunity to go back and play some smaller events that I wouldn't otherwise get to play. It's fun. So, yeah,
I think it's been really well accepted down here. Like,
Yes.
we hosted the New South Wales Junior at the club that I'm the pro at last year. And there was quite a few kids walking around with Ripper GC hats on, or the parents are doing that. And I've had a kid on, Harry Takis. I'm not sure if you've heard of him. He's a really good amateur golfer here in Australia. He's playing at San Diego University.
Yep.
And he was sort of saying, when I was chatting with him, once he's finished college, he would, there's obviously PGA Tour University, but also, he was referencing maybe trying to get on the LIV Tour. So I think it's a genuine pathway now for, people may have said, oh, this is not going to hang around. I think it's probably here to stay. It's pretty well supported, right?
It's definitely here to stay. Yeah, I mean, there's a real pathway now. Like you got, if you get your Asian Tour card and you play well enough to get into the international series events, if you play well in those international series events, that can earn you a LIV card. So,
That's amazing.
It's good. And like Ripper's actually becoming a brand now. You see like kids, I remember we used to either buy a Titleist hat or a Callaway hat or a TaylorMade hat.
Yeah.
Now kids are wanting to buy a Ripper hat. So it's
cool.
It's pretty cool seeing all the hats in the crowds. And the balls I use, they got the Callaways with the Ripper logo on it instead of the number.
Oh, right.
So you throw them
That's
to the
awesome.
kids and they love it. It's it's really cool. So I'm I say loving it. It's been a great change for me, and I loved my time on the PGA Tour as well. Certainly not saying I didn't enjoy that, but it just came along at a perfect time for me with 3 young kids at home, and it's been awesome.
Yeah. How, like, I guess running off that with the kids, how important has your family been to your career? Obviously now you're playing a bit more of a smaller schedule. Have you had to change the way that you practice now? Because obviously I've got 2 kids and life's bloody busy. What's it been like on your off weeks?
Yeah, it's yes. I feel like I don't practice any more or less. I'm very efficient. I've become very good at being efficient with everything I do. So when I go to the golf course, I'm not of course I'll talk to people, but I'm there to do a job, get what I need to do, just get done what I need to do.
Yeah.
I've got a bit of a checklist, whether it's, putting, chipping, shot shaping, uneven lies, whatever it is, wind shots, wedge distances. I've got a list that I've got to go there, get done. I'll give myself a time limit, do that, and then give myself time to also see my mates throughout the week. Obviously, we've got kids getting dropped off at school, picked up from school. So it's busy, sports. So I've got a little window from about 8 o'clock in the morning till about, 2 in the afternoon where I have to get everything done that I need to do. And after that, it's all family time. So it's cool though. It's like, I might have 2 or 3 weeks off, but it's not tournament golf, but it's still busy, but a good busy, which I call it a good busy. So, yeah.
You're a bit of a lawn man. What's a perfect day for you look like outside of work and let's say a weekend?
Perfect day, I would say wake up, make myself a coffee. I got a coffee machine downstairs. I'll make myself a latte. get outside once the neighbours are out of bed. Mow the grass. Say it's not a weekend. About 9 o'clock, I'll get out and give the lawn a trim. Then it normally takes me about an hour and a half to cut the grass. Just got to walk behind greens mower that I do it with. Normally, I might head out to the brewery. A perfect day, I'll head out to my brewery and see the guys out there. Maybe catch up with a mate for lunch, go have some chicken wings and maybe a beer or two. Pick the kids up from school if I haven't had too many beers. And then, like taking them to... I love watching them do their sports. So, my daughter's riding horses and my son, Ollie, he's playing the guitar and the drums. He's in a band, so love watching him do that. He actually just at drum practice before, and then my oldest boy, Harvey, he's into his golf, and then they both play basketball as well. So yeah, I think it certainly involves kids sports, but some chicken wings in there, cut some grass. Yeah, exactly.
You like spice on your chicken wings?
Yeah, I like a bit of spice. Yeah.
Hey,
beer and wings goes well together.
You posted a photo yesterday of your lawn.
Yeah.
Like your putting green. Is the putting green artificial or is it just
it's artificial.
Yeah, okay. Because I was looking at it going, wow, that's either he's really good at this.
Yeah.
Could be the head greenkeeper at Augusta, or he's gone artificial.
Yeah, I went artificial. I had a real one, and then it was just the winters here are terrible. They're freezing. It actually froze here. Didn't get above 0 degrees Celsius for 2 weeks here this year, day or night.
Yeah,
so you'd go outside and you could bounce a golf ball on the lawn, and it was like bouncing on your driveway. Just bounce back up. So yeah, not really conducive to an amateur putting green. So we put the artificial one in. It's got a bunker there, and then I've just cut the rest with the greens mower. But it's not at greens length. It's probably about the length of your fringe at your golf course.
Yeah, okay.
That's about 8. I think it's about 7 or 8 mil at the moment.
Mate, just before we wrap up, if you had a young junior golfer come to you and say, I'm 14, I'm off scratch, I feel like I play pretty good and I want to try to make it on tour, is there any sort of advice you would give them as far as what they should be putting into place?
I think obviously the enjoyment, like do what you enjoy. So I used to love chipping, putting, like shot shaping. So I'd always be hitting massive hooks or massive cuts. I think do what you enjoy, like practice that, and that'll turn into a strength that you'll have forever. And then just always try and, while you're doing that, you're still trying to improve your weaknesses. You don't have to eradicate your weaknesses. Everyone's got a weakness. But I think just improve it, whether it's 1% a day or 1% a week. Like if you can do that, improve your weaknesses or every part of your game by just 1% a week. I mean, in a year, you're going to be 50% better. Yep. Like it's not all going to happen. I think the biggest problem, or not the problem, the biggest thing, and my son is going through this at the moment. He thinks that one lesson is going to fix everything. It's like I've been working with my coach for 25 years and I still have the same problems now as I had 25 years ago. Like they're just not as big. So I'm still trying to improve, and it's just always just trying to get that little bit better, not trying to fix it all in, 3 range sessions. Yeah. So I would say, make your strengths real strengths, like, Cam Smith's putting and wedge play. I feel like my iron play is a big weakness. And there's other tools you can do, other things you can do as well. Like, like I said before, when my wife was sick, like I was actually asking, comes back to asking people questions. The pulmonologist, who's the heart and lung specialist that saved my wife's life, the breathing cycles that she was on when she was in a coma, I'm like, why is she on that breathing cycle? Like, why is she breathing in for 7 seconds and then out for 1 and then in for 7 and out for 1? The machine was doing it for her. And he explained it to me like, well, that's because, keeping the lungs open to try and dry them out. But when your lungs are, you have to give your lungs oxygen to feed your brain. The oxygen doesn't just go straight to your brain. So you need to, that's like that 2-step, 3-step sort of process. So, that has really helped me. Like if I did feel any nerves early in my career, now when I start to feel nerves, like I can, basically get rid of them in 30 seconds of breathing. And I can see when my opponent is like starting to struggle because the way they're breathing, I can kind of read them a little bit, so you can almost work out what they're going to do before they do it, which is also cool. It's a fun game while you're between shots because obviously with your caddy you're trying to always fill in time, and there's a lot of time to think during golf. So to try and predict what someone else is going to do is actually fun, and it makes you not think about your shot for a second and relaxes you and not burning energy. So it's that's cool as well.
What are you working on in your swing? You're saying you want to make some changes.
Oh, they're little changes. I kind of on my downswing, my bad habit has always been I sort of stand up and my butt comes in, my divots get toe deep, and I'll either miss it right because it's toe deep, or I'll try and recover it and flip it.
Yep.
So just trying to keep my butt back on the way back, and on the way through, and my left knee, I've got torn I've got all sorts of stuff happening in my body, but I've got torn labrums in both my right and left hips.
Yeah.
So my left leg sometimes when I'm on the downswing kind of stays bent, and it almost like my knees sort of looks like I kind of so hard to explain here, but trying to kind of straighten my left knee on the way down.
Yeah.
And when I was hitting drivers yesterday, actually, I picked up about 2 or 3 miles an hour swing speed with that snap of the left leg.
Yep.
Which I've been doing for a few years, but I just made it a bit more aggressive and picked up, like, we don't normally use the TrackMan, but yesterday we had it out and I was just, it sort of sounded a little bit different. And I said to Dennis, what was that clubhead speed? He's like, geez, it went up 2.8 miles an hour. I'm like, let me hit that. That's got to be a mistake. Hit another one. He's like, that was 3. And then,
wow.
So hopefully that's a trend. It might have been just I'd warmed up properly. I don't know, but so hopefully I'll have a bit of yardage and hit it straighter. We'll see.
Oh, good luck. Good luck, mate.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on and
no worries.
Giving your time. I think there's some cool little stories there and some messages for the younger generation or parents that listen, just to, I guess, have a good perspective in life, and it's not all about golf sometimes.
Yeah, it's for me. I was always big on balance. Like you have your work time, have your play time, or your time with your friends, and then your time with your family, and then alone time is also pretty important. Have that few minutes whether it's in the morning or at night to just sort of reflect and think about what's happened, and that's when. Well, that's what I generally do when I've had 2 or 3 weeks off golf. I'll come back almost better because I've been able to think about some of the shots I've been hitting, and without even having a golf club in my hand, so kind of fix it. So it's good, just balance. I'd say it's a big in every part of your life, not just golf, but your whole life.
Thanks, Mark. Take it easy, mate.
No worries. Thank you.
Yeah.